Even after attempting to save his daughter 99 times, every effort ended in disaster, with her dying each time. It all began when humanity started turning into zombies, causing the collapse of the entire world. One desperate father did everything he could to fight against the undead and protect his beloved daughter, but he was powerless. It didn't take long for both of them to push up daisies. Instead of finally resting in peace, he's summoned by a goddess who grants him 99 lives. Basically, he can die 99 times and come back again and again just so he can try to survive. He begins his quest to protect his daughter from scratch. And so this vicious cycle of dying and being sent back in time continues. Each time he regresses, he tries to do better than before, only to end up defeated. Even then, this superdad never loses hope. He stubbornly clings to the only goal he has in mind. Even if it means repeating this hellish loop tens of thousands of times, he'll gladly do it, as long as there's a chance to rescue his daughter from this nightmare. On his second-to-last attempt, he finally reaches a fortified sanctuary where he could have found refuge under military protection. But by the time he finds it, his daughter is already gone. Instead of taking his life and starting over, he accepts this tragic fate and lives out the rest of his days like a normal person. But even after all those years, his longing to save his daughter never leaves him. Eventually, desperate to reunite with her, he takes his own life, redeeming his final chance to save her. As he stands there after returning, fully prepared to move forward, he recalls how he had once reached that shelter, Dijon. But he was never able to make it there with his daughter alive. And it was all because of his past mistakes. This time he's ready, equipped with every ounce of experience he's gained throughout this brutal journey. He assures himself that he won't repeat those mistakes. He opens the front gate cautiously, determined to finally begin his journey to Dijon. But he's hit with a reality check he never anticipated. Unlike previous attempts where the area was clear, this time his doorstep is overrun with the undead. The entire street is swarming with zombies, rushing in like it's a Black Friday sale on toilet paper. This unprecedented development leaves him frozen in shock. After all, in 99 tries, he's never once seen something like this. The undead don't even let him finish his inner monologue before they're already on him. His daughter snaps him out of it. He quickly pushes her back into the house and slams the door shut behind him, sacrificing himself just to buy her a little more time. She pleads with him, begging him to open the door. But this gigachad of a man is dead set on taking this L alone. Even as his flesh is ripped apart, he clenches his jaw. No way in hell this is enough to shake his will. Not when he's come this far. After experiencing death nearly 99 times, getting torn apart once more doesn't faze him. Images flash through his mind. Warm memories of the bond he once shared with his daughter when she was just a toddler. Just like he adored her back then, he adores her just as fiercely now. That unbreakable bond reignites his determination. He refuses to die a pathetic death at the hands of these damned monsters. Something inside him awakens, and inhuman strength surges through his body. With one powerful push, he lifts a dozen zombies on his shoulders and flings them like trash bags in every direction. It's as if the couch potato dad just transformed into a super dad powered by pure love. One unfortunate zombie thinks it's a good idea to challenge him. It learns the hard way. The dad rips through the horde like they're paper. When one zombie bites him, he bites back with 10 times the force. At the same time, he drills his fist straight through another corpse's chest. And then, leaping into the air, he slams a zombie into the ground like a goddamn meteor. Even the remaining brain-dead ones seem to realize they messed with the wrong dad. Now he's out here, Aura farming, rocking a body that looks like it was forged in war. A single glare from this devoted father is enough to send the undead retreating in fear. Meanwhile, his daughter has calmed down inside the house. The gate cracks open, and light of hope pours in. The sight on the other side of the door makes her heart skip a beat momentarily. Her father stands before her, alive, powerful, and built like a Greek god. His jacked body radiates strength and aura. A body that could make single moms across the city weak in the knees. Entering day 7 of the outbreak, we shift the perspective to the capital Seoul. In the Mapo district, there is a specific grocery haven called the Amart. Why is that information important? Because in the next scene, we come to discover a group of soldiers angrily guarding the entrance, questioning how 2 survivors managed to come all the way here, especially when the entire district is swarming with zombies. Looming over from the dark, Satch grows closer, while the egghead soldier becomes so angry that I'm starting to think his head will explode. By the way, just about every single one of them is currently aiming right at our boy, ready to shoot at any moment. The man in charge questions what happened to our guy's face, and he finally concludes that Minsk must be some kind of celebrity for wearing those cool sunglasses. That's a hilarious conclusion, but it's a favorable one, I guess. Making her debut in the story, a baddie captain steps up and tells both of them to get lost. This woman is dubbed the Black Widow, and I'm guessing after dying in Avengers Endgame, Natasha reincarnated into this story. Anyway, Chahieri is pretty adamant about her stance and deeply distrusts the 2 of them, declaring that they won't find any shelter here, so they should get moving. She even makes a point by going all up in his damn face just to say, fudge off. But to the surprise of her two big personalities, Minhyul starts frowning about his daughter's deteriorating condition. He claims that after traveling aimlessly for an entire week, Domi's asthma condition is becoming concerning. Long story short, he begs her to save his daughter, and thanks to his Oscar-winning acting skills, Bro goes so far as to say that he's fine sacrificing his own life as long as they protect his beloved child. His display of affection for his daughter leaves the captain baffled for one moment and then pissed off in the next. Even Egghead from earlier thinks it's a stupid stunt coming from Satch, especially when their captain is a cold brute who doesn't really give a flying about anyone's emotions. And then we cut to the funniest part of the chapter. Egghead turns his head, and his jaw drops after seeing his captain's pathetic face. The girl can barely contain her emotions after hearing the story and ends up having a change of heart. She allows the two of them to join the survivors, justifying that they need more manpower. But everyone knows it's not because of that. Deep down, she seems like a softie, but let's expertly break down what really went down. You see, this man Mock is one hell of a gaslighter, and I really mean that. Bro actually smiles to see the captain's unchanging nature. In his previous encounters with her, he learned that she's a retired soldier. And yet, she became responsible for gathering a great deal of survivors and did everything to protect the shelter. On the exterior, she's the most brutal woman one can imagine. So much so that it's best to compare her to a merciless serpent. But actually, her one single weak spot is hearing sob stories of parents sacrificing their lives for their children. That's how he meticulously exploited her in his encounter. But Domi is pretty damn pissed off about his stunt just now because she didn't like the fact that he was ready to abandon her. Still, she keeps up her facade of being an asthma patient and keeps coughing like a dead rat. Even the soldier is annoyed, but the reality is only Mio knows the truth. He can see that his daughter's mental condition is at an all-time low, even worse than all of his previous runs. It's important to secure her safety firsthand. The part that bugs him the most is the occurrence of two unpredictable variables because only in this life has he experienced a shift in the timeline based on what happened a week ago. Then there's him, who was bitten by zombies and somehow ended up getting superpowers for it. It's almost like he has become foreign to his own body to the point it wouldn't be far-fetched to call Melk a zombie anymore. Let's explore the early stages of survival. You see, the mart promises plenty of supplies and resources for them to enjoy. Not just that, the place is heavily guarded, too, ensuring proper protection. Strangely, he discovers a collapsed building just next to it because he'd never seen something like that happen before. The soldier is surprised by his admission and even calls him out for acting like he's seen the future or something. Anyway, he talks about the incident that took root 3 days ago. A bunch of zombies began attacking them out of nowhere, and the captain, being selfless as she is, lured them all away by herself inside that same building. With the place filled with bloodthirsty zombies to the brim, this woman annihilated the building using explosives they had set up in advance. The whole building collapsed, and in its obliteration, the zombies were crushed. With the way things are right now, they can be compared to rubble and dust because they're definitely not getting up after that. And even if some survived, they can't escape the collapsed building. Suddenly, the soldier looks at Menelk, who appears to have a frightened look on his face. At first, Egghead begins to laugh, mocking him for acting like some zombies are going to come out of nowhere. But that's the irony. Because right as he says those words, a goddamn colossal zombie creeps up from behind. The fat father of all crazies towers over the tiny soldier, rearing its terrifying mutated appearance. The same Egghead is reduced to a puddle without words, and well, bro, around a bit too much and is about to find out. The colossal beast raises its arm before unleashing its titanic punch, decimating the human with a single attack. But that's not all. This same zombie makes its way to Captain High and nearly gets hurt, too. Thanks to her incredible evasive abilities, the baddie is able to dodge just in time while her men are shocked at the sight of zombies and wonder where they even came from. Readying her units at once, she commands them to open fire at the ugly bastard. The soldiers unleash a wave of gunfire, but big old Steve over here literally eats all of their bullets and firearms at the same time. The monstrous creature releases a deafening roar before lunging itself upon the soldiers. The massacre begins with a single uppercut, taking out 3 of High's men. One poor guy is left defenseless, frightened for his life. And for some reason, the zombie decides to use both his arms just to smash him to pieces. Fortunately, the selfless captain uses her backpack as the perfect distraction and manages to rescue him from danger. She reminds the clown to maintain his composure if he wants to live. The baddie captain is lost in her thoughts and tries to regain her composure, realizing that they're no longer facing an ordinary zombie. Her first cause for concern is the mart, and recalling that it's a safe haven, she leads the survivors towards it. Of course, as they're bolting ahead, Mock tries to talk his way through, only for Harry to tell him to shut his ass up and keep moving those legs. The problem is Dammy is facing trouble keeping up, activating our boy's fatherly instincts. The Gucci version of Nami makes a turn to face the ugly pile of zombie meat. and pouring his everything into a punch. He rages to fight the beast using only his hands. Let's switch to the perspective of Hai, who intends to lure the monstrous zombie to a special barricade they built right outside the mart. The barricade is so sturdy and thick that there's absolutely no way for anything to take it apart, even if it's a colossal zombie. With this, Harry will be able to delay their doom until they can focus on exploiting its weak spot. But then a horrific realization looms over her when she spots the survivors waiting on the first floor. I'm going to take a pause and admire that gwut because clearly Harry's perfect in every way. Anyway, the severity of the situation has just become so much worse with the rest of the survivors waiting here. This causes a change of plans as the captain makes an immediate halt, cursing at the situation. She's not going to let the monster hurt these people, so she intends to distract it all on her own. Now, that's how you write a badass female character. But when Hai turns to look at Dammy, she's astonished that her father is nowhere to be found. The captain gets infuriated because she did all of that effort just for Dammy's dad to abandon his own daughter. The girl points the captain in a different direction, implying that Minsk is over there, surprised, but still caked out. The captain gazes at the scene in sheer astonishment. You see, she's actually seeing our boy bash the ever-living daylights out of the zombie's head, crushing it and smashing it until its head is all battered. Minsk finally ends the zombie's life with one final attack, leaving even the battle-hardened soldiers at a loss for words. The scene is so gruesome that the survivors can't bear to look at it. Having ended the zombie's life, our boy casually regains his breath, acting like he didn't just take down a behemoth with his bare hands just now. Facing him with suspicion and shock is Captain Hai, who can't even bear to make sense of what happened. Minsk doesn't care about anyone. The first thing he does is apologize to his beloved daughter for breaking his promise. And exposing himself like this, he openly confesses that he cares more about his daughter's safety even more than his own secret, which is why he took action. But the situation has become complicated now that Harry is extremely wary of this man. So much so that she points a gun straight at him, questioning his real identity. Looking ripped out like a damn gigachad, Mock officially introduces himself and begins to take off his glasses. The fact that he's going this far causes his beloved daughter great worry because she fears that if he reveals his true identity, the soldiers will kill him. The scene comes to a chilling conclusion when Minsk names himself a zombie before adding the word expert ahead of it. His words cause the atmosphere to go dead silent, leaving both Hai and his daughter confused because what the hell is a zombie expert? Activating his Gaslighter Promax skills, Minsk explains that ever since the outbreak of the apocalypse, he's been going around analyzing the weaknesses of each zombie and what makes them vulnerable. That's how he was able to kill the beefy dude earlier and that he's actually thrilled to help them all. At first, Hai looks at him with a smile, pleasantly laughing at his excuse. But then she goes batshit crazy and puts a knife to his throat, showing that she doesn't buy his story one bit. When Dammy tries to intervene, she tells her to shut up because the fact of the matter is clear. This man, being the ordinary human that he is, was able to smash a creature to bits with his bare hands. The same zombie that appeared invincible in the face of bullets. But even more suspicious are his dark red eyes. No different than the zombies, going all up in his face. She demands to know if Minsk is even human at this point. And damn, the girl is a few inches away from practically kissing him at this point. Zombie Papa denies her words, stating that the bullets from earlier actually did achieve a considerable amount of damage. The captain is confused, so he further adds that the zombie was already pretty damn weak from the bullets alone. All he had to do was finish the fight by dealing the final blow. This class of zombies is called the Eater class, and they're formed when multiple zombies fuse together. Man, these zombies are taking inspiration from the fusion dance of Dragon Ball Z. Thanks to their fused bodies, they gain another level of impenetrable durability. However, as durable as this zombie can be, there is one glaring weakness. That weakness is targeting its neck. As he shares this explanation, Minsk internalizes that technically he's not stating any lies. Even though it's true that any ordinary punches wouldn't have been able to kill the monster, objects to his eyes, to which he casually tells her that he shares a genetic condition causing his eyes to lack melanin. It's actually the main reason he covers his eyes in the first place because he knows that other people look at him weirdly just like the captain is doing right now. With both of her concerns clarified, Minsk takes control of the conversation and questions if the captain still believes he's a zombie. The captain draws a concerned and skeptical look on her face. Despite his words, she can't help but shake off the feeling that something about this man just doesn't add up. But even then, the one convincing factor about him is that if he was a zombie, he would have lost his mind and wouldn't ever bother protecting his daughter. Thanks to that, Hai ends up persuaded and turns away, allowing both of them to take shelter inside the mall. With her Jupiters turned to our screen, Captain Hai does leave a reminder to Minsk that she's going to be keeping a close eye on this so-called expert. Ultimately, Harry takes a second to process the loss of her men, feeling extremely guilty over the scene. Right away, two of her soldiers quickly come up to check on her state. The captain wastes no time and bashes one of the guy's knees, making him drop to the ground in agony. The reason she's doing this is to punish the idiots for not following her orders. Because of their disobedience to evacuate the civilians to the underground level, they nearly jeopardized the safety of all the survivors. Hai learns that these clowns ended up panicking and forgot about her orders. But she's even more pissed because their mistake could have cost the lives of everyone in the mall, giving them a terrifying glare. She strongly expresses that she's going to be the one killing them next time if they make another blunder. Saying so, she walks away in frustration. But apparently the guy she kicked appears to have some kind of resentment towards her, implying that something's going to happen in the future. Anyway, let's go back to the mart. On the inside, the survivors are resting, including Minseok and his daughter. Dammy is genuinely glad that his secret didn't come out because she was terrified when he started talking. She also can't believe that her papa over here can lie while acting naturally. Mok expresses that Hai isn't the type of person who was going to be convinced easily, so he had to give it his all. The way he talks about her makes Dammy wonder if they know each other. Her words cause a memory flooding into our boy's mind. In reality, in most of the regressions he experienced, he formed a really good relationship with the captain, which is why he knows her so well. Of course, he doesn't let his daughter know about any of this. Interestingly, Dammy is surprised her father knows about the term bluff because it's a term only the kids know, apparently. Zombie Papa smiles at her and reveals that she's the one who taught him all of that. In fact, thanks to the 100 lifetimes they shared, he was able to learn a lot from her. Dammy is really impressed even though she doesn't remember any of it.